Today is a historic day. Valhalla has finally opened. Or has it? Earlier today, Blackpool Pleasure Beach announced that from today, Valhalla has officially opened and will be operating for regular opening hours every day by putting out tweets and a social media post on Instagram like, just why? Where's the grand opening? It would only be right and polite for me to share my final review of Valhalla, so without further ado, to Pleasure Beach. Right, that's been turned on. Turn that off now, turn it off. That's not been on, I don't think, since 2019, but yeah, here for, well, another day in park and some more rides on Valhalla. And I believe there's been quite a few positive changes. There's about there, so yeah, why not? Let's cover that all for you. Oh my word, it stopped! And Danielle's in the way of the camera.
Blackpool Pleasure Beach are taking the mick more than Alton Towers on the worst day of the, I don't even know what season. That thing behind me has been open for 20 minutes. I think, oh no, I'm not. Oh no. Oh no. This has been a good start to the update. Right, let me continue. They just walked off, I started filming, because I always film like over there where the skull is. Wait, I'll spin you around. I think we should go in those. And yeah, so basically, let me explain. So, we went into the queue, and then we just got, may I have your attention please? At this moment we are unable to resume operation. There was no communication about it. It's only been open for 20 minutes and it broke. There wasn't anything before that, I never heard any announcements.
They've just been evac.
People have just been evac. Yeah, I'm really confused. I'm really confused as to what's happened. So Josh is now going to explain with a bit more context. Now we calmed down a bit. What's actually happened with the breakdown? Because I'm really confused.
Broke down, usual.
No, but there was no communication before the actual announcement to evacuate the queue line. There wasn't.
It wasn't stopped for that lot. Well, we'd only just joined the queue line, so I don't know why you're mad, man.
No, but I'm really confused. But like you said, they opened the queue line.
Well, yeah, the queue line opened. We went and took our stuff back to the car.
Yeah, to wait.
So it's not, doesn't get soaked.
And that was a whole waste of time.
I know, yeah. I don't think we would have got on it, to be honest.
No, but like, yeah.
But, yeah, like I say, it must have been running for less than 15 minutes and they've evacuated the queue. I don't know what. So
yeah, no, it's just a bit frustrating, really.
Then he goes and does what he did at Alton Towers twice in 2021.
I'm sorry to say it again, I know I said it last time and I don't like being negative, even though I say some controversial stuff. But Alton Towers maintenance team, are you taking the actual mick again? Because the Smiler and them... Oh, God, not again! No! If you're watching the maintenance team, yeah, I really do appreciate...
I apologise now.
Yeah, I apologise, but yeah, it was very... It took 3 weeks. I've not been on it for 3 weeks. And like, I've heard a lot's changed, and I'm like, I've been evac from it twice already 3 weeks ago, so it was rather frustrating to re-enter the queue. I know, it was quite a while ago. Re-enter the queue and immediately it's like gone down. Yeah, thank you for creating this, or keeping this amazing dark ride. And hopefully like it is back up to its world-class standards again. Because it wasn't quite there like at the start of rehearsals, but I've heard very good and promising things since. Okay guys, it's 5:15 and we're in the queue for Valhalla. They emptied the trough.
I think your phone might be like recording vertical, but like you can
and then they refilled it again, which I don't get the point. I don't know, there must have been a problem with the sensor on the waters or something, but yeah, last ride of the day. I am happy that we're hopefully going to get on it now. And once we're in there, we obviously either get an evac,
we must have jinxed it.
or a, yeah, no, let's not jinx it, but yeah, you can hear the soundtrack here, which still needs turning up. It is raining, as Josh, you may have been able to hear him complaining about. Yeah, we're going to get on it now and we'll see what happens.
So yes, I'm back at home again now. We did get on Valhalla, but after that it was the end of the day and we needed to rush off park. So here we go. Here is my final verdict, and let's answer the question, is this still a world-class ride? That was the complete polar opposite of the other week. I feel like I was quite negative in my recent Valhalla technical rehearsal update.
And I don't really like being negative.
Blackpool Pleasure Beach, they're taking the mick.
But I tell you what, the ride has improved significantly. That is the first time I've ridden Valhalla since the technical rehearsals begun and thought, now this is what Valhalla was and what it should be. Starting off with the first scene as you go in with the mannequins that thankfully aren't for that god-awful poster. There was some brand new audio in there introducing the concept of the afterlife and a bit of music as well. And guess what? It was at the right volume. You've heard me complain in the past about Valhalla's audio being too quiet. This was nice and loud. You then reached the fire torches and proceeded up the lift hill where you could hear in the distance the screams of fallen Vikings. Sort of audio is a little bit quiet. However, there wasn't really any dialogue telling any story on the lift hill. I'm not sure whether there's meant to be, because in the old Valhalla you had this kind of enter Valhalla type thing. Nevertheless, it added some nice ambience, and not to mention the smoke effects on there as well. You then reached the top of the lift hill and passed under the lanterns, and the audio saying like the afterlife can be surprising, the afterlife can be pleasurable, was nice and loud as well, much louder than before. You then passed through the Forks fire room with the fake fire, which was working nice and strongly, and then you got to the turn round section, and I believe there was some new audio introducing that, which I can't remember was in place last time or not. You then obviously proceeded down the forwards drop, and the mystical effect that everyone's saying squirts you and gets you really unnecessarily wet wasn't working, so can't comment on that. However, there was in that section, which is still a little bit dark, but it's only for a few seconds, so I mean it's not too big a deal. Some new audio introducing the concept of the ice room, which gets a lot of stick, but I personally really like now. There was snow blasting out in there, some really nice loud audio ambience. It felt a lot more immersive than it did in the old Valhalla, and it was good then, but this was just incredible. I was mesmerised, I was blown away. The lighting was really cool, and yeah, it wasn't cold. It definitely felt colder than on previous rides, so like a little bit cold, but it wasn't minus 20. It was, you know, beforehand, so that's a shame. I know it must be expensive, all the conditioning and whatnot they have in there to make that happen, but if they could get it to minus 20, that would be much appreciated, because going into such a cold room was just incredible. Fast forward to the ride's second drop, which was as airtime filled as always. You hit the bottom of that, got a bit wet, and then went through the water vortex, and we all cheered as instead of dumping itself on top of us like it would always do in the old ride, it went over the boat properly. We went through a proper tunnel of water jets, and it was just incredible. I absolutely loved it. Some of the water cannon effects after that were a little bit broken, but nothing too much there. Not really a big deal, because all they do is get you wet, and like getting wet can be good and bad, you know, it just depends how, like, don't know what I'm saying. Fast forward to the second lift hill, and this is still my least favourite part of the ride. There's some audio going on which I've never been able to tell what it is, and it's just pitch black, there's nothing really going on. I mean, in the old Valhalla you had these Vikings screaming, and it was quite loud, and it just added some ambience, but this, it was like trying to add ambience, but I couldn't really tell what that part of the ride was supposed to mean. It just felt like it was connecting two scenes, to be honest. At the top of that we obviously entered the jungle scene, and unfortunately this time round the hammers were broken, but I can confirm that they work from previous rides, as was the log. However, we did get some fire arrows after that were in the old Valhalla, and make a bit of an infamous sound effect, which, I don't know, like, it just sounds really satisfying, and I quite like it. But yeah, it's a cool effect nonetheless. We then had some bells which were on a bit too quiet, and some extra skeleton things that moved towards us, and then it came to the final drop, and oh boy, we saw the infamous ring of fire at the bottom of the drop. The cheers on that boat when we saw that were incredible, and I absolutely love that effect. For those of you who don't know, I'll show you on this Planet Coaster recreation how you come down that drop, there's all fire at the bottom of it, and when the boat hits the bottom of the drop, it puts the fire out. Unfortunately, I wasn't on the front row, so I didn't get the full effect of it, but it's one of the best effects I've ever seen in a UK dart ride. Anyway, I don't even know how it works really, but a ring of real fire. From what I've heard, you can get even more fire than we experienced, so I'd love to go on the ride again and experience that. And then in those final 2 rooms, every single fire blast worked. We got the 2 on the left. The audio was blasting out for the Valhalla soundtrack, which I've actually grown to quite like, even though I didn't like it to start with. Fireballs in the last room. And then we came out of the building and I was speechless. I finally had experienced the proper Valhalla with a lot of effects working for the first ever time, because those first 2 rides, it just wasn't there. It felt like there was something missing, but that time it didn't really. Don't get me wrong, some of the scenes in the second half still felt like they needed work, but overall I was blown away, and I can now say that that is a world-class ride. That has to be possibly the best water ride in the world, the best dart ride in the UK. It now tops the Curse at Alton Manor, which I'll be doing a review of very soon. Now I should mention that I couldn't actually attend the media day. I was never like invited to the media day or anything, which I'm not bothered about at all. My experience is based on Saturday. I've heard that people have had rides with about 95% of the effects complete today, which is really promising to hear. But nevertheless, I wanted to do this review to share my final thoughts, and I'll be doing something similar for the Curse at Alton Manor. Click the icon in the centre of your screen to subscribe so you do not miss that Curse of Alton Manor video, and for more things thrill related in the UK and beyond. If you've enjoyed the B-roll footage in this video of the Planet Coaster recreation of the old Valhalla before it was reimagined, then click the video on the right side of your screen to go and watch POV of that. I'm Ben, you've been watching ThrillNet, and I'll see you in another video.